Okay, well, thank you very much for having me here today. I think to start out, when the initial germ of an idea for this program came up, we were sitting around the table, literally saying, how can we get more done on the ground? How can we help fix water quality on agricultural lands in a way that works for everyone, and if anything, can build new connections and partnerships. And so we came up with some of the best management practices, the barnyard work, conservation planning, buffers, things that are in REAP. And in a tough budget climate in our state, said how are we going to pay for them? And sort of struck upon this idea of using a tax credit to help build a public-private partnership to do conservation on farms. And then we sat down with Representative Stern and Jay House and Carrie Olden to say, okay, here's a thought. How do we, first of all, is this really an opportunity, and how do we build it into a piece of successful legislation and policy? And I think for anybody who's not in Harrisburg and may not be aware, it's a difficult town, and it's been a difficult few budget years, and to have a champion like Representative Stern really pick it up and be willing to go to bat and to push a program through and actually get something funded was really almost a miracle in the last legislative session. So I think Representative Stern deserves an awful lot of thanks for his work and his willingness to coordinate with other legislators and help make this happen. We really appreciate that. And then I think there's another set of people. One of the really unique things about REAP was that we were able to build such a broad coalition of partners to support this effort. And just to give you an idea, there were environmental groups like the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, and other ag groups were involved and really did a lot of heavy lifting to get support out from that community. But there were also a lot of other partners, the Philadelphia water supply folks, the Pennsylvania municipal authorities, all the people who see the value of clean water, drinking water, and streams and rivers really came together. Over 70 groups came together to support this legislation, which is really unheard of, to build that sort of a broad partnership around a single issue. And I've got to say, if it wouldn't have happened, given the budget and the way things went, it might not have been successful. But I think it's a real testament to the fact that we were able to build an idea that appealed to people. And that idea is to fix our streams and rivers, groundwater, drinking water, in a way that is sustainable, that helps us maintain our working lands, our food supply, our agriculture in Pennsylvania in an environmentally friendly manner, and to build that connection to use tax credits, transferable or saleable tax credits, to bring the private sector into that discussion. So that was the initial idea, and what it evolved into the REAP program. And I think now, while in the middle of the legislative session, I said, this is crazy. This will be the hard part. I think what happened is the hard part got dumped on Carl and the Conservation Commission in terms of putting together all the details of, okay, now we have this program. How are we going to make it happen? How are we going to have it be accessible to people? How are folks going to begin to use and implement this program and figure out how tax credits work? And I think that's another party that needs really tremendous kudos for the way they, in a very short time period, are bringing a whole new program to deliver $10 million this year out onto the ground. And I don't know, but I can't think of the last time a new program spent that sort of money got developed in a couple of months. So a lot of credit goes to DEP, PDA, and the Conservation Commission to sort of pull that together. I do really think, and the Chesapeake Bay Foundation supports this notion of assisting the agricultural community in improving water quality. We've seen years and decades really, where folks have subscribed to EQIP and other programs that haven't been able to tap into the funding, and that the will to do this cleanup work is there, but the funding hasn't been there. And now as we move into, the approaching 2010 and the goals for the Chesapeake Bay, the Department's new nutrient trading program, this really provides some funding to help get folks into a better position environmentally on their property. It helps put them into a position hopefully to use the nutrient trading program and to take advantage of additional tools. So I think we're really on the right track here. And Chesapeake Bay Foundation's role going forward, I think, will be to keep asking what help do folks need, how do we keep facilitating this. We're certainly going to be trying to bring together large corporations and businesses that have a tax liability and need the tax credits with the farms and the agricultural consultants and the other people who can sort of marry this work on the ground to the need for the tax credits. And I see that as one of our primary roles moving forward. So again, I was really privileged individually in our organization to be sort of involved in the inception of this idea, and we're definitely here to help shoulder whatever load we can as it moves forward. And I think this is a really unique opportunity, first in the nation program to do this sort of work. So I'm looking forward to watching it play out, and I think an interesting thing is we've been contacted by folks in at least 3 other states who are interested in how this is going to work. So this really may become a national model for conservation practices, particularly on farmland.